तनयं ततश्च विद्यावाप्य विबुधोक्तमतां दधानं पूर्वे सदा हृदि गुरुं करुणाकराख्यं लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नाथयां नमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य शरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये मातापिता युवतयस्तनया विभूतिः सर्वं यदेव नियमेन मदन्वयानाम् आद्यस्य नः कुलपतेर्वकुलाभिरामं श्रीमत्तदङ्घ्रियुगलं प्रणमामि मूर्ध्ना भूतं सरश्च महदाह्वय भट्टनाथ श्रीभक्तिसारकुलशेखरयोगिवाहान् भक्ताङ्घ्रिरेणुपरकाल यतीन्द्रमिश्रान् श्रीमत्पराङ्कुशमुनिं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम् श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि. We saw about the concept of recitation, about reciting names, reciting stotras, singing songs in praise of Bhagavan. We saw about cases like Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. We saw about Murkho Vadati Vishnaya example, where the uneducated one says Vishnaya. The educated one, knowing Sanskrit, Ukaranta Pullinga Shabda, he will say Vishnave. But Bhagavan being Bhavagrahi will give the same phala for both of them. We saw about that. We also saw about the recitation of stotras. We saw about Kalau Nama Sankirtanam. We saw how easy it is to perform Nama Sankirtana in Kali Yuga, especially, given that in this age it is very difficult for us to do what people of olden days were doing with ease. Why is it very difficult for us to do? It is not because the times have changed. People say times have changed, therefore it is difficult. In reality, it is our own karma. What do you mean by time has changed? The real meaning is that people have changed. In the olden days, people were good. They were so good that life after life after life, they had good things. They had great capabilities. Now, we are not as good as we were before. Therefore, we do not have enough punya karma phala to be born into such a family or into such a community or with such biological power, with physical power, mental power development. We do not have the capabilities for any of that to the extent that the ancestors had. Therefore, we have become very weak. We are very spiritually weak. We see Vishwamitra performed tapasya for 1000 years non-stop. Then he realized he is not getting what he wanted. He got disturbed. What did he do? He again did for another 1000 years. We see it about Vishwamitra. Can we do it? Can we do it for even 10 days or even one day? How many of us is capable? Why don't we have the capability? The reason is not Kali Yuga. The reason is our own karma phala only. We have to understand that. But given that we understand our situation, that our own karma phala is bad, how do we get out of it? You have to try to do something that has the highest benefit and gives you the benefit in the least amount of time. I want maximum benefit and I want the maximum benefit in the minimum amount of time. Is there a way? Yes. What is that way? Nama Sankirtana. So this is how the greatness of Nama Sankirtana is explained, that it is extremely easy, it pleases Bhagavan, it is equal to the recitation of the Veda itself or the recitation of various mantras. You still get the same phala by reciting the names of Bhagavan. But then a question might arise. If that is so, why do mantras exist? Why do mantras exist? And what are the rules for reciting mantras? What is the concept of recitation of mantras? And this is a very, very important topic that we are covering today. In fact, whatever we discussed in the previous lecture were all meant to lead us towards this, because there is a very, very popular story of Bhagavad Ramanuja teaching a mantra to people. We have to look at that. We have to try to understand what is the truth or what is the untruth, what is the concept behind the truth, how exactly is it working, and how should we not expect it to work. We should understand all of that. Now, let us do that in today's class. So first, we have to understand that the nature of a mantra is different from the nature of Bhagavan Nam. Mantra is like a knife. What does the knife do? The knife cuts. You don't have to think about knife as an evil weapon used by evil people. You can cut even fruits with a knife. You perform surgeries with knives. So there are so many good things that are done with knives. But if you do something bad with the knife, if you try to if you try to harm people, naturally the same knife could be used for something evil. Correct? So remember this, the first point of difference. Reciting the names of Bhagavan or reciting his stotras or singing bhajans, they will always have only positive effects. But mantra, when we just say mantra, mantras need not necessarily always give positive results. For example, we hear of evil sorcerers, we hear of evil magicians, evil people using mantras to harm others. There is a beautiful story that they narrate. In Mahabharata, in Vanaparva, towards the end of Vanaparva, there is a part called Yaksha Prashna. Now, Yudhishthira and his brothers, along with Draupadi and Kunti, they are going in the forest. At that time, they don't have water. They start getting thirsty. What happens? They decide to stop. One of them, one of the five Pandavas, goes in search of water. He finds water. He tries to fetch the water, but he hears a sound. There is a yaksha. The yaksha says, unless you answer my question, I will not let you to take this water. This water is mine. If you want to use it, you have to answer my question. He does not listen. He drinks the water and he drops down dead. He drops down dead. Then the second Pandava goes. He also dies. The third Pandava goes. He also dies. What sort of Mahabharata is it? Pandavas dying in Vanaparva itself? No, it has happened. In this way, four of them die. The fifth one, the eldest, Yudhishthira, finally he goes. He does not ignore the warning. He listens to the warning and starts answering. That question and answer, we together call it as Yaksha Prashna. That Yaksha, we later find out that the Yaksha is none other than Yamadharma Raja, who had come to test Yudhishthira. But here, there is a beautiful story that they narrate. They say there was an evil sorcerer. We may not be able to find it in the version of Vyasa Bharata, but it is said in other Bharatas. There was an evil sorcerer who was hired by Yudhishthira. That sorcerer was a master of Atharvana Veda. Not Yudhishthira, sorry, Duryodhana. That person was a master of Atharvana Veda. Duryodhana said, the Pandavas are there in the forest. I tried to make fun of them, but I got insulted. When the Gandharvas came and fought with us, the Pandavas came and saved us. I cannot withstand the humiliation. I don't want them alive. Right now, they are inside the forest. I want them dead so that they do not return to the kingdom. I don't know what mantra you will recite, what ritual you will do. I want the Pandavas dead. And this evil person, he starts and he performs. In his yajna, an evil spirit appears. That evil lady who comes out of the fire, that evil spirit, she asks, what should I do? He says, go and kill the youngest Pandava. She goes, she says he is already dead. Then next Pandava, next Pandava. In this way they try. Each time they try, she returns saying that that Pandava is already dead. I cannot go and kill him. I am very hungry. I thought you will tell me to go and kill somebody and eat them. That is what Pishachas have been doing since forever. But now you are telling me to go to people who are already dead. We don't eat corpses that have been created by others. We eat only the corpses created by us. If I don't kill, I cannot eat it. I will give you one last chance. You tell me. If the target is there, I will eat him. If the target is not there, I will return and eat you. The man said, don't worry, there is a person called Yudhishthira. That fellow is supposed to be very dharmic. He will most probably be alive. You go and kill him. She goes in search of Yudhishthira. But Yudhishthira at that time is performing prayer. Having reached water, he is performing prayer. He doesn't drink directly. The prayer protects him. And being protected by the prayer recited by him, being protected by the prayer recited by him, this evil being returns unable to fulfill the command and eats up the person who summoned her. So the evil sorcerer who summoned her, as narrated in Tamil versions of Mahabharata, he is killed. Now what did we see? We saw two things. In the story, Yudhishthira was reciting a prayer that protected him. He did not recite a prayer saying, I want protection from such and such an evil spirit. He did not even know that she is coming. But still he got protection. He prays to the Devi and the Devi protects him. In the case of Duryodhana's friend, the guy hired by Duryodhana, what happens there? There also they are reciting. Something is being recited. Some incantations, some mantras are recited. An evil spirit is summoned, but they are not able to accomplish it simply because Yudhishthira is protected. But imagine if it had been a normal person, they would have been able to accomplish their task. So what do we learn from this? Mantras need not always lead to good results. This is a very important point. This is what we learn from Ramayana as well in Uttarakanda. When Shambhuka performs tapasya upside down from a tree, he says, he tells Rama, oh Rama, I want to enter Indraloka with this human body. Rama knows that it is impossible. The great Vishwamitra was not able to take Trishanku to Swarga with the same body. Vishwamitra himself couldn't do it. Vishwamitra ended up creating a separate Swarga that we call as Trishanku Swarga. How will Shambhuka be able to do it? It is an impossibility. Moreover, from the Puranas, we find out Shambhuka's real intention, that he wanted to marry Parvati Devi. That means he is a pervert. Is it ever going to be possible for him to marry Parvati Devi? No, only Shiva is the husband of Parvati. Nobody else can ever even try to become. But this guy was trying to become. Therefore, his tapasya was bound to be a failure. The mantras recited by him, he being an anadhikari, a person who did not have the right to recite those mantras, still recited out of blind perversion and blind desire. As a result, it affected Not only him, of course, he got affected. Narada comes and tells Rama, Rama goes and kills him, all of that happens. But one of the direct effects of the mantra was that an innocent child of a Brahmana got hurt. An innocent child got hurt as a result of a wrong recitation of mantra. So, when it comes to recitation of mantras, we should be very, very careful. The letters should be accurate. The swara should be accurate. Swara is very important. I have heard my Venerable Acharya say that if you recite a Gayatri mantra in a particular incorrect swara, instead of summoning the divine, you would end up summoning a pishacha. So we should be careful. So when it comes to mantra, unlike Bhagavan Nama, where even if you make mistakes, it is okay. When you recite a mantra, you should recite it accurately. There is this famous story of Vashta. Vashta wanted to get a son who will be able to kill Indra. He summoned the priests. He said, perform a yajna. I want to get a son who will be able to kill Indra. They said, okay. And in the yajna, they recited Indra Shatrud Vardhasva. But although they recited Indra Shatrud Vardhasva, they recited it in the incorrect swara. Because the swara was different, instead of implying that Indra, the enemy, should be killed by the sun, the statement ended up implying Indra, kill your enemy. So what happened? Vashta got a son. That guy became a very great, very powerful, very mighty guy. He terrorized all the devas. But in the end, he got killed by Indra. So when it comes to mantra, it is very important for us to think about the accuracy, think about the swara, think about the adhikara. How do you get adhikara? From learning the mantra through a guru. These days, there are people who put mantras as ringtones. They put mantras as caller tunes. They play mantras inside offices. That does not really give phala. That may make you feel peace of the mind, but that is a mental benefit, not a spiritual one. If you want spiritual benefit, you should learn the mantra from a guru and then recite properly. That is what is going to give you spiritual benefit. So, this is very important. Why is it that mantras have this kind of a difference that others don't? Because the nature of mantra is different. Mantra is like a knife. If you use it properly, you can cut vegetables, you can cure patients. If you use improperly, you might end up killing people. Therefore, it is our responsibility to use it properly. Mantra is focused. Knife is focused, right? Knife. Why does knife work so well? Because it is so thin. It focuses on a very, very small area. Therefore, it is able to cut through. In that way, you can understand the mantra as well. Now, a question might arise. We have heard people, especially let us say the people of ISKCON, they have said about a particular mantra called Hare Krishna mantra. As a matter of fact, they call it Maha Mantra. What do they say? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is all that they are going to recite. And they say this is a Maha Mantra. But when they recite this, they don't seem to be talking about all the vidhis, all the precautions, the swara that you talked about. They don't seem to be worrying about any of that. Why is it so? How is it that they are able to recite a mantra so easily? Whereas you are saying in a different way. The answer is that is called mantra, not technically, but because it gives all the phalas of the original Vedic mantras. When you say Hare, it is Sambodhana Prathama. You say Hare, Krishna, Rama, all of them are in Sambodhana Prathama Vibhakti. You are doing Sambodhana there, right? This addressing, because you are doing it, you are not having a Bijakshara, correct? You don't have any Bijakshara there. You don't have the formal Rishi Chandas Devata type of procedure here. It seems to be very simple. Yet it gives the same phala as mantras, and therefore it is praised as a Maha Mantra. But the original mantras, those which are technically mantras, ones that start with bija for example, like pranava. Examples of such mantras: Panchakshara mantra, Ashtakshara mantra, Dvadashakshara mantra. All such mantras are there, right? Shodashakshara mantra. All such are there. So, what about these mantras? They should be learned only from gurus and then recited. If you learn without a guru, you might end up reciting incorrectly. You might not get the desired phala. Sometimes you may not get the right result. Sometimes you might get the negative result. Sometimes not just you, even others might get the negative result, like it happened in the case of Shambhukar. Therefore, we should be very, very careful. Now, it may be argued, you are saying so much about phalas and aphalas, but think about it. Bhagavan should be valuing only bhakti, right? Do I get rewarded for my bhakti or do I get rewarded for my proficiency? When we discussed in the case of Bhagavan Nama, we said Bhavagrahi Janardana. If your bhava is Shuddha, if your heart is pure, then you don't have to worry, even if your Ucharana is incorrect. That is what we said. But here in mantra, we are saying the exact opposite. What happened to the logic? You said Bhagavan understands everything, Bhagavan understands your bhava and rewards it. But you are not saying it in the case of mantras. Why is it so? The answer is that we have to understand that nama is different from mantra. Both came from Bhagavan only. Yasmai chadattam yat jnanam jnanadata harisvayam. Or whoever was given whichever knowledge, the giver of that knowledge was Sakshat Shri Hari. And that Hari, he has said something very important. He said, Shruti Smritir Mamaivagya Yahtam Ullanghya Vartate Agnya Chedi Mamadrohi Madbhaktopi Na Vaishnava. The Shrutis and Smritis, the scriptures, Vedas, and the Upabrahmanas, the Smritis are meant to explain the Vedas. They are all having commands given by me only. Mama eva agnya. Yahatam ullanghya vartate. Whoever ignores them, discards them intentionally. There may be people who don't know the rules and therefore don't follow. That is different. But then there may be people who know it and still knowingly ignore and discard. Yahatam ullanghya vartate. That person, that agnya chedi, that person who breaks the command that I have given, that person is considered to be mamadrohi. That person is considered to be a betrayer. Why? Why is he betraying Bhagavan? Because Bhagavan said, do this, you will get good result. I will say, why should I do this? Who are you to tell me that I should do this to get good result? I will do it in the exact opposite way. Am I being a bhakta to Bhagavan? No. If I say, no, this is not correct, Bhagavan doesn't expect this, Bhagavan doesn't expect that. Bhagavan has only given us the scripture. Bhagavan has spoken to us through the scripture. If we do not understand it, we should seek guidance from the learned people. But instead of that, if we say, no, no, I don't think this is logical, I don't think this is correct, I don't think this is scientific, I think this is very narrow-minded, I think this is stupid, I think this is old-fashioned, I think this is Abrahamic. In this way, if people start judging based on their own limited knowledge, they might not end up reciting with Bhava Shuddhi. They may think they have Bhava Shuddhi, but they wouldn't have. So, a person who has Bhava Shuddhi, which Bhava are we talking about? Bhakti Bhava. A person who has that Bhakti Bhava, how should you recite a mantra? You should recite a mantra with Bhakti towards that deity. Correct? Now, if I don't even have that Bhakti, what will happen? If I have Bhakti, I will follow it the way Bhagavan wants me to follow. If I truly have Bhakti, I will be devoted. I will want to do things the way he has asked me to do. I will want to stay away from whatever he is staying away from, or whatever he is asking me to stay away from. So those people who say Bhava Shuddhi is enough for mantras are unfortunately incorrect. And if people, even after shown scriptural evidence, are going to, simply because of their own ego, refuse to believe in it, then their Bhava Shuddhi will also not be there. And therefore the Phala will not be there. And we are saying that in the case of mantra, Bhava Shuddhi, Ucharana Shuddhi, both are important. Both Bhava and Ucharana should be correct. If my Ucharana is correct and Bhava is wrong, I may not get the benefit. Brihaspati was there. Once Indra and Brihaspati got into an argument. Indra said, "Oh, go away, you old man. I will hire somebody else. I will hire somebody else. What is your purpose? You perform yajna so that the Havirbhaga, when it comes to us, we are eating it and we are able to sustain our lives. That is all, no? I will get it done through another guy. You go away." Brihaspati also went away. Indra brought a youngster. The youngster performed rituals so perfectly. He knew everything perfectly. He recited so perfectly. His Ucharana Shuddhi was absolutely perfect. His Ucharana was absolutely perfect. Perfect Ucharana Shuddhi he had. Yet, the Phala did not come to the Devas. The Devas remained hungry. They did not know what was happening. What was really happening? This fellow had Ucharana Shuddhi. This fellow had Ucharana Shuddhi. He had Kriya Shuddhi also, but he did not have Bhava Shuddhi. In Bhava, what was he thinking? In reality, this guy was also a relative of the Asuras. He was thinking, I am feeding the Devas right now. How will my uncle be? How will my grandfather's brother be? Oh, all of those people are Asuras. If I am feeding the Devas, they will become powerful. My own relatives are going to suffer. They are going to become hungry. I don't even know if they ate. I don't know if my relatives ate, but I am feeding some other people. In this way, he was thinking while performing the yajna. Therefore, what happened? It did not give the phala. So, bhava shuddhi is important. Ucharana shuddhi is also important. When you learn it yatha vidhi, when you learn it as per the scripture, then alone you will get the adhikara, the right to recite it and get the phala. Otherwise, you will not get the correct phala. Maybe you will not get anything. Maybe you will get bad things. Maybe you will harm not only yourself but also the others. Therefore, we should be very careful when it comes to mantras. Now comes an important part. Did Bhagavad Ramanuja shout the mantra? There is this story, very popular story. Bhagavad Ramanuja, he was studying under Mahapurna, Periyanambi we call him. Periyanambi at one point of time told Bhagavad Ramanuja, there are Rahasya mantras and Rahasya arthas that you need to learn. The best person to learn them from is not me. The best person is Goshti Purna. We call him Tirkoshti Urnambi. in Tamil. So go to Goshti Purna, he will teach you all of that. Bhagavad Ramanuja said, okay. He went to Goshti Purna. We all know the story. First, he was not accepted. Goshti Purna Swami did not accept him at first. Bhagavad Ramanuja was rejected once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 18 times. He went again and again. Finally, he was accepted. But sometime later, when Mantropadesha was given, Bhagavad Ramanuja was said, whatever I am teaching you is an utmost secret. You should not teach it to anybody. This utmost secret can grant moksha, but you should preserve it as the greatest secret. Never reveal it to anybody. In this way, he was told. As per the popular story, Bhagavad Ramanuja climbed on top of the Gopura and then shouted this Rahasya. This Rahasya, they say, as per the popular story, the Rahasya is the Ashtakshara mantra, and Bhagavad Ramanuja climbed the top of the Gopura and having summoned the public down below, he shouted the Ashtakshara mantra and gave it as an Upadesha to all so that everybody could follow. This is the story presented. It is unfortunately so popular that a lot of Upanyasakas and sometimes certain Acharyas are also saying that story. However, it is incorrect. Such a story did not happen. What really happened has to be understood. So I will tell what happened, then I will say why the popular story is wrong. What really happened is that Bhagavad Ramanuja, he did not shout the mantra. He taught the mantrartha, the teaching of the mantra. That too, if you go by Divya Suri Charita, it says he taught the Charama Shlokartha. Did he teach Ashtaksharartha or did he teach Charama Shlokartha? There is something in common between Ashtakshara mantra and Charama Shloka. Charama Shloka, the Shri Vaishnavas as we call it. First, let us understand what these are. In Shri Vaishnavism, we talk about three great rahasyas. One is Ashtakshara, one is Dvaya, and one is Charama Shloka. The Charama Shloka is nothing but whatever you have in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter. The shloka that starts with Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Now, there is something in common between the Ashtakshara and the Charama Shloka. What is it? It is that he is the Swami. We are there only for him. Everything is there only for him. We should surrender to him. That surrender, that teaching of Sharanagati, it is one of the meanings of Ashtakshara and also very clearly the meaning of Charama Shloka. It is this meaning that was taught by Bhagavad Ramanuja. That has to be kept in mind by us. Now let us see why the popular story is incorrect. Firstly, who all heard it? Let us say an entire population is abroad. If you climb on top of the Gopuram and shout, will everybody hear perfectly? It doesn't happen like that. When even today, when there is a stage with just 100 people also, the person on the stage says, I want a mic to speak so that everybody can listen. That person uses a mic and we use multiple speakers so that people are able to hear clearly. An entire village heard when Bhagavad Ramanuja climbed on top of the Gopura and shouted, saying this is illogical. Secondly, where is moksha? If you say that reciting the mantra will give moksha, Does it really happen? Had Bhagavad Ramanuja got moksha by reciting it? No. No, no, why are you bringing him as an example? He is Adishesha Avatara. Okay, fine. What about that Goshti Purnacharya, the great Tirukoshti Nambi, who taught Ashtakshara to even people like Bhagavad Ramanuja? Had he got moksha by that time? No. He was also still there on earth. Then, if Ashtakshara is going to give moksha, if you say that reciting the Ashtakshara will give moksha, there will be multiple logical issues. Point number one, reciting just once isn't enough. I recited once, did I get moksha? No. How many times should I recite? Should I keep reciting forever throughout my lifetime? What should I really be doing? Bhagavad Ramanuja, did he recite the Ashtakshara mantra throughout his lifetime non-stop? No, he did not. He recited every day, but he did not recite it 24/7. So Bhagavad Ramanuja himself did not recite it 24/7. And he lived for 120 years. Not even a short life. So what is it? Where is that moksha? How do I get that moksha? Can I do any kind of papa and just recite this mantra, you will get moksha? Is it that simple? I may have given this example before. The example of General Dyer. General Dyer killed so many innocent Indians in Jallianwala Bagh incident. After that, he went to a church. He said, oh Father, I seek apology for the crimes that I have done. Please forgive me as a representative of God. And he was granted pardon by the church. Is it so simple? Do whatever crime you want. Just recite one mantra and you will get moksha itself. You will get free from everything. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. That doesn't sound logical. That doesn't sound fair. That sounds unfair. That also sounds biased. If everybody should really hear it, he being Adi Sesha should have taken a complete Vishwarupa and spoken in such a way that the entire world hears it. Why restrict it to a single village? Why not say it to the entire Chola Rajya? Why not say it to entire Bharata Varsha? Why not say it to the entire world? He is Adi Shesha. He could have said it in such a way that all the 14 worlds hear it also. Where is the logic? Scriptural reasons. Why the popular story is in. Remember, we are focusing on this simply because the story is so popular that people are giving Desha.